started because we've got a lot of content to get through. This morning we're going to be going through Kevin Murphy Learn Me, the products. So we're really going to be talking a lot about the brand itself and then going through all of the regimens as well. So we'll jump straight onto our first slide there, and we'll go through a bit of the housekeeping stuff before we actually get started today. All right, so guys, it's best if you stay muted during the session because we do expect to have a few people on today. So that would be good. If you can see, you can actually dock the speaker over to the side. So if we go into full presentation mode, if the AV pod, which is where I'm speaking from now, if that's covering part of your presentation, if you click on the bottom right, there's a little square with an arrow in it. If you click on that, it'll move the AV pod off to the side, so it's not covering any of your screen anymore. If you have any trouble throughout the session with, glitching, or if you can't hear, or if things don't seem right, the best thing you can probably do is actually refresh your browser or log out and then log back in again. Most of the time, that'll fix up any issues that you might be having. And the other thing is be on the lookout for the recorded session. So this session will be recorded and then it will get sent out to everybody. So if there's anything that you wanted to re-go over, you can kind of just fast forward to it. You don't have to sit here and listen to me go over it all again. You can just fast forward to the bits that you want to hear about. So first of all, before we get right into it, we can go to our next slide, which has actually got a QR code on it as well. So the QR code you can actually scan on your phone if you like, and it should take you to our education edition, which will give you some extra information about all the products and stuff as well. So I'll give you a moment there to be able to do that. Also, throughout the session, if you have any questions, you can probably see already that behind the scenes here, I've got Ria McClaw helping me out, and Ria has welcomed everybody in the chat box. You can type into that chat box at any point in time to ask any questions that you might want to ask about anything. And I'll endeavour to answer all of your questions today. If we can't get an answer for you today, then I'll definitely find out for you and we'll get that through to you. So maybe we could kick things off today by, if you would like to, just type in your chat box so we can see that it's working for everybody. And maybe just say hello or tell us where you're from around Australia. That'd be great. Here we go. We've got a few people jumping in, saying hi. Great. All right. All right. So welcome to Learn Me Products, everybody. I may know some of you, I may have met some of you before, but maybe not everybody. My name is Wade Blackford. Actually the style master for Kevin Murphy for Asia Pacific. And I'm also the design director for styling for the brand globally. So essentially what I do with Kevin Murphy, and I've been working with the brand for over 10 years now, so it feels like forever, but it still feels fresh and new to me, actually. Obviously, we're doing things differently these days, so that's brought a whole new skill set that we've had to come up with. So that's been kind of hard but refreshing at the same time. I'm lucky enough I get to work kind of closely with Kevin and the creative team on all of the images and the photo shoots and the things that you see that come out from Kevin Murphy. I'm lucky enough I get to test a lot of the products before they come out and have input into the creation of the products and stuff like that. So today we're going to be going through products, and I'm going to give you, I guess, my insight and stylist insight into the product itself. So just remember, at any point in time, if you've got questions about products, feel free to go ahead and ask those in the chat box, and we'll get them up on the screen so that we can answer any of those for you as best we can. Okay, so moving on, our mission at Kevin Murphy. So our mission at Kevin Murphy has always been to help to join and bring salons together. So bringing salons together from all over the world, really, and creating that connection between them through different platforms. So through digital platforms, we feel that we're quite, creative when it comes to connecting with everybody digitally. And I think that was us before COVID hit, and then even more so now after COVID has, made us all sort of move online a little bit more. The first thing we're going to talk about today is our core principles at Kevin Murphy. So there's kind of three things that we really do hang our hat on, I guess, at Kevin Murphy. They're the things that we believe in, and they're the things that we think makes our brand what it is today. So those core principles, if you want to jump into the chat box, has anybody got an idea of what those core principles are? If anybody's been with the brand or working with the brand for a while, hopefully some of you might know, some of those answers there. So you can type away in the chat box now and let us know if you know what one of those core principles might be. If not, I'm going to tell you in a moment anyway. We'll just see, no one's typing yet, so maybe we'll just go ahead and move on. All right, so we'll jump in straight into them then. So at Kevin Murphy, our three core principles are fashion, performance, and the environment. So we're going to go into each of these ones a little deeper, just to give you an understanding of what they actually mean. So we're going to talk a little bit about the idea of, fashion, performance, and the environment. So basically, but when it comes to fashion, we feel like we're a brand that's very connected to fashion. We're always looking at what's happening when it comes to fashion, and that really influences what we do as a brand. It certainly influences our campaigns and our images that we like to create. It definitely also, fashion is like the trend predictor. So it actually influences what products we're going to bring out next. So when we're looking at runways or we're looking at street fashion, we're looking at the textures in people's hair and what they're going for at the time, and what we may need to bring out in Kevin Murphy to actually match what's happening, or to predict what's happening in the future when it comes to fashion and trends. So that's a big part of how we're connected to fashion. We do see ourselves as a fashion brand within the hair industry. And that comes all the way down to not just the images we create, but also the packaging we use, the colors that we use in our packaging, the fragrances that we use, or the way the product actually smells. Things like that for us are all connected to fashion, and that's a big part of our story. Also, the performance of our products. So the performance has a lot to do with what goes inside the bottle itself. So some of the things at Kevin Murphy that are, key ingredients that kind of go across the whole range are things like our antioxidants, our alpha hydroxy acids, the surfactants we use, so the ingredients that we use to actually cleanse the hair, and that helps the products to actually foam up. The different proteins that we use, the proteins that we're looking for constantly to find new proteins that will mimic hair protein as closely as possible. Of course, we use plant proteins to do that. Things like enzymes, which help to actually activate other ingredients, or they help to carry ingredients and deposit them where we need them to go. Things like essential oils have always been really important to us. One thing they do is they help to preserve the product. One of the other things the reason that we use essential oils mostly is because they're very multifunctional. They can do lots of different things. So they can help to preserve the product, but also, obviously you've got the aromatherapy properties as well. What you also have along with the aromatherapy properties is they're multifunctional. Some of them can be anti-inflammatory. They can deposit proteins. They can help to moisturize the hair. They're very multifaceted products or ingredients. That's why we tend to use them a lot at Kevin Murphy. And the last one on there is water. Water is a really important one. It goes into most products, and it's important that we have water that's been purified. That doesn't have any of those minerals or anything of that type in there that's going to interfere with someone's hair or what they're doing with their hair themselves. So one of the interesting things you can do at Kevin Murphy is when it comes to products is actually go onto the product Matchmaker on the website. I don't know if a lot of you have done this before or not, but you can actually jump onto the product Matchmaker on the website, and you can actually fill it out basically step by step, looking at your hair type, how much hair you've got, what you like to do with your hair, and it'll actually give you a recommendation on what products you should look at using on your hair. It's an interesting one to do just in case you want to do it, and you can see that it might give you a lot of recommendations that you already use, but it may also give you some that you haven't thought of before. It's a really interesting and good one for clients to be able to do even in the salon as well. So the last of our core principles before we start jumping straight into the product itself is talking about the environment. So we've got lots of initiatives at Kevin Murphy when it comes to environmental issues. Some of the things is like our packaging. So packaging, we've also got, we're part of the climate change reality project, which, so that means that for every aerosol that we have, we know aerosols may not be the best thing for the environment, but they're kind of a necessary evil in hairdressing. So for every aerosol we have, we make a cash donation back to the Climate Reality Project. So there's tons and tons more information on the website about what we do. There's a whole section there about all the things that we do for the environment itself. So something that's really important to us at Kevin Murphy. So there's 3 core principles, which are fashion, performance, and the environment. They're the things that we think about at Kevin Murphy before we move forward and do anything, whether it's creating a product, whether it's putting together a big show. We look at what's the fashion impact, how does fashion influence this, what's going to be the environmental impact of the show, and how can we lessen that, and what's the performance going to be like. So it kind of crosses over through everything that we do at Kevin Murphy, and it's, as I said before, that's what we hang our hat on, really. So we're going to jump now into looking at the different regimens that we have at Kevin Murphy. And we're going to go through each of those regimens, and I'm going to give you as much information as I can, along with what you will already have up on the screen for you to read. Again, as I said before, if you have any questions at any point in time, feel free at any point to actually type them into the chat box. Put a question mark at the end of them so that Ria behind the scenes will actually know that it's definitely a question. And we'll be able to actually put them up on the screen as well so that everybody can see them. And then I'll do my best to answer those for you. So we're going to jump straight into the regimens at Kevin Murphy. So a while ago, we moved to putting everything into regimens at Kevin Murphy so that it makes it very easy for the client to actually navigate the retail line really easily, but it also makes it easier for us, the hairdressers, to be able to navigate the retail line really easily as well when we're in salon. So you'll notice that we have similar colors. We don't go for where we have everything exactly the same color. Again, that's part of our looking at fashion and what happens there. So you'll notice that we have, those regimens in a particular, hue that might run through that whole regimen, or it might just be a similar color combination that runs through that regimen itself. So we're going to kick things off by talking about a KMX. So a KMX is what we call a Kevin Murphy experience. It's like doing a facial on your hair. It's customizable. You can do it in any way that you like. There's only one real strong rule with a KMX, and that's that it always starts with a maxi wash, which that's going to be the first product that we actually start talking about. But maxi wash is number 1. That's like, kind of like exfoliating the hair for you. The second thing you're going to do is choose the wash, the particular wash that you think is going to be right for that client, then you're going to use that wash. The third thing we're going to do is then treat the hair. So whether that be with a mask or one of our Kevin Murphy masks, or it could be with treatment itself. Then after we've treated the hair, the next step is to actually do a conditioner or a rinse on the hair afterwards. So choosing the appropriate rinse for that client. So it's kind of like a 4-step process. You can think of it like a facial for your hair. So think of the maxi wash being like your exfoliator, your second wash being like your cleanser. Your treatment would be like putting a mask on your face or treating for a specific problem. And then the rinse or the conditioner, think of that as being like your moisturizer that you would use at the end and how you want your skin to feel at the end of that. So they're the kind of ways you can think about when we do a KMX. Now, you can use any combination that you like. On the website and stuff like that, you will find that we do have combinations that you can go into. We've also got a podcast out which talks about how you can do a KMX and how you can do these different treatments and how you can customize them for every single client, for every single hair concern that someone may have. All right, so we're going to dive into our first regimen today, which is Detox. So the Detox regimen is really about detoxifying the hair and the scalp, and also invigorating the hair and the scalp as well. So when we're talking detox, we're talking about things that are going to really cleanse that hair, remove any toxins and things like that. As we talked about before, the first product that we're going to jump into is actually Maxi Wash. So Maxi Wash is, as I said before, like our first step of our KMX. This is the one that contains, I guess, the most alpha hydroxy acids in it. Now, that sounds a little, I guess, can sound a little scary, that the idea of alpha hydroxy acids on the hair, but actually they're acids that are derived from things like citrus fruits. So they come from things like papaya and pineapple and stuff like that. And what they do is they actually help to detoxify the hair and the scalp. So they will help to detoxify the hair and the scalp, remove any debris, help to regulate the oil levels and the dryness levels on the scalp as well. And it's kind of like your first step for someone in the salon or even at home. Recommended use would be to use it at home once a week on your hair, just to give it a refresh. Just like, you're probably not going in and getting a facial done on your on your skin every single day. So cutting back and just doing it sort of once a week is what's recommended. But you can use it more often than that as well if you're particularly treating a problem that you're looking to address with the hair or the scalp itself. Okay, so that's our first one, Maxi Wash, with one of the key ingredients that it has in there as well. It also has some tea tree oil in there, which we know is very good for being like, it gets rid of toxins and it's very purifying on the hair and scalp as well. So the next one that we're going to talk about is our balancing wash. So balancing wash is like a strengthening wash. It's really good as a daily shampoo. So for clients or anyone who wash their hair quite often, this one's a really good one for them. Simple reason being that it actually it's very good at cleansing the hair, but it has more of a gentle cleanse to it. So it's good for anyone who's washing their hair quite a lot. Sometimes people wash their hair quite a lot because they feel they have to. Other people are just in the habit of doing it every single day and they just can't get out of that habit. They may not need to wash every day, but they just continually do so. So balancing wash is a really great one for them because it's going to cleanse the hair the way we want to, but it's not going to over cleanse the hair at all. It's going to leave all that good stuff behind and be more targeted cleansing on the hair itself. So it will provide extra luster and shine to the hair. And it's very good at evening out, as it's called, balancing wash. It's very good at evening out the levels on the scalp, whether that be oil levels or dryness levels. It really does help to even those levels out on the scalp. So next one that we have, and I'll talk about these two together, you'll find that when we get to our products that actually work together, I'll look at them and I'll talk about them as one thing. So we have our Stimulate Me Wash and our Stimulate Me Rinse. So both of these products are designed to help to stimulate the scalp itself and to get the hair nice and fresh and really clean feeling. So the interesting thing about the rinse is that it does contain camphor crystals. Those camphor crystals really stimulate the scalp. And they actually boost the shine on the hair as well. So they do that by, you've all used products before that you put on your scalp and it feels that you get that cooling feeling on the scalp itself after you've used it. So that's what those camphor crystals do in this product. They're sourced from Asia and they give you that cooling effect, just like when you pop a mint in your mouth or you brush your teeth. And what that does is help to invigorate the scalp, helps to bring some blood to the surface. So it's great for anyone who feels like they may have a bit of thinning hair or they may need to stimulate that scalp and get that production going again, get those follicles really working again. Thick Again is a very unique product. Now I'm going to give you a bit of information on this, but we're going to dive into this one a lot more when we get to our Thickening Regimen later on, because we've got another product called Body Mass, which actually is very much similar to this product. And I'll tell that story and talk about that a bit more when we get to thickening. But this really is all about anyone that is experiencing hair thinning or hair loss. This will actually help strengthen and fortify the roots of the hair. It also will help to boost thickness in the hair. It will help with the circulation on the scalp itself to actually boost hair growth. It has eyelash thickening technology in it, which actually helps to make the hair feel fuller and thicker instantly. So it's not only working on the follicle to actually help with hair growth and to make the hair thicker, it actually works cosmetically instantly to make that hair feel fuller and thicker straight away. But as I said, we will jump into that a lot more when we get to thickening. So I'll come back to this and make sure that you remember that thick again and body mass have similar things. And I'm going to go down and more into the science and the technology story of it when we get to body mass a little bit later on. So next one is the newest in the Kevin Murphy range, which is Scalp Spa. So Scalp Spa is a new regimen for Kevin Murphy, where we're looking at specifically the scalp itself and issues that people might have with the scalp. Specifically, we're looking at scalp health overall. We all know, the old saying is, prevention is the best cure. So rather making sure that people have overall really beautiful scalp health is going to help with any issues they may have, whether that's oily scalp, dry scalp, any other scalp issues, that sluggish scalp or any scalp issues that you might be able to think of. Our aim at Kevin Murphy is to actually give everybody beautiful scalp health, and in turn, that's going to give them that beautiful hair and that beautiful hair growth as well. So the first one we're going to look at is our Scalp Spa Scrub. I personally actually really love this product because I do get a bit of dry scalp, a bit of flaky scalp, and being a hairdresser and being in Melbourne, I pretty much wear black all the time for some reason. We all do. So having that flaky scalp is not fun for me. So I find that this clears it up instantly for me. So it will gently cleanse the hair. It's going to remove impurities and stuff like that from the scalp, and it acts like a true exfoliator. So it has something called perlite in it. So this is like perlite's actually like a rock. Like it's like a volcanic rock that's formed when lava hits water, and it creates perfect little spheres. So these perfect little spheres are actually completely perfectly round. Because they're perfectly round, it means that you're not going to be damaging the scalp or anything when you're rubbing them in. Okay. So before we move on from this, I can see we got a question here already. It was a question that I was going to jump into anyway, because it is a question that we get a lot. So I had a question here from Rachel about the scrub. How do you rinse all the perlite out of longer hair? So the usage instructions for Scalp Spa Scrub is that Scalp Spa Scrub is the first thing that goes on your hair. So the hair gets wet, you apply your Scalp Spa Scrub. Now, I find massaging it into the hair all over for quite some, for a good 3 or 4 minutes is actually the best way to actually exfoliate the scalp and get it right through the hair. It contains micellar water in there as well, which we know is a great skincare and beauty ingredient, which actually helps to remove oil from the scalp or the hair, but without stripping the hair of its actual or the scalp of its natural moisture. So once you've put your Scalp Spa Scrub in, then we want to do a really good rinse on the hair, and then 2 shampoos. So whether that's using our next product, which is our Scalp Spa Scrub, you can use this as your next 2 shampoos, or you could use any Kevin Murphy shampoo at all. And then after you've done your 2 shampoos and rinsed really well for both of those, then we apply our treatment or our rinse or conditioner to the hair liberally, comb it through with a fine tooth comb will help to get any more extra perlite out, and then rinse really well also. So if we follow those instructions, now I know it sounds like a lot to do, but for someone that has any scalp issues, so for someone that maybe this is going to work for them, if this works for them using the exfoliator on the hair to get rid of those scalp issues, they will do this ritual on their hair once a week. So that would be the best way to make sure that you remove all of the perlite from the hair. If you're getting anybody coming back and saying they're doing all that and they're still not getting rid of it all, they could be either using too much at the beginning, or the other thing that we've found is the biggest culprit is water pressure. If someone has really bad water pressure in the shower, it may be hard to get all of that perlite out. But if they're blow drying afterwards, it should be all gone by the time they actually blow dry their hair. So that's the Scalp Spa. And so I hope that answered your question for you, Rachel. So let me know if that answered it for you, if you have any further questions around that. But yeah, if you do all those steps, then you should be able to remove all of that perlite from the hair itself. And like I said before, trust me, if this is working for someone who has a real scalp issue, and this is really helping them with that scalp issue, then definitely they'll be happy to do that ritual and go through that process as well. All right, so we're going to move on now to one of our most popular regimens, which is Hydrate. So the Hydrate regimen really is all about, I just realized before we move on to Hydrate regimen that we do have the Scalp Spa Scrub video. So we might actually go back and play that one. So that way Kevin can tell you a little bit more about Scalp Spa Scrub. Looks like that was just the teaser video, my bad. Wasn't Kevin talking about Scalp Spa, but that's okay. All right, so we'll keep moving along into our Hydrate regimen. As I said before, Hydrate's one of our most popular regimens. It is all about giving that nourishment and hydration back to the hair. So some of the key ingredients you're going to find right throughout the Hydrate regimen. One of the really key ingredients is kakadu plum, which comes from the Northern Territory in Australia. It's a native ingredient. It actually contains the highest levels of vitamin C of any known plant on the planet. We know that vitamin C is really good for the hair and for the skin as well. So that's one of the key ingredients that you'll find that runs right through our Hydrate regimen. Within that regimen, and I'm just going to roll through the products that actually live within this regimen, and then I'll go back and talk about each of them. We've got our Hydrate Wash. We have our Hydrate Rinse. We also have a mask in the Hydrate regimen. We also have a leave-in conditioner called Untangled. And then last but definitely not least, we have Shimmer Shine. So Shimmer Shine is actually part of the Hydrate regimen because it is very hydrating on the hair itself. So when we talk about our wash and our rinse, once again, our wash and our rinse is all about giving that hydration back to the hair. And we also have a mask in there as well, but we'll go back to talking about the Hydrate and the rinse. And I'm just having, there we go. I'm just having a slight technical issue there, guys, sorry. So the Hydrate wash and rinse is all about, it has a really rich antioxidant blend in there, just going to boost the hydration to the hair. This one's really great for all hair types too. So don't think because it's hydrating that it should be just used mostly on thicker or coarse hair. This one's pretty lightweight, so you can use it on finer hair as well. I mean, I wouldn't use it on someone who has an issue with having really fine limp hair and they want more volume in their life. But if someone has more, fine to normal hair that's still having an issue with the hair being dry, they can absolutely use this. It's the best beginner regimen for anybody who is moving over to Kevin Murphy from another brand. So it might be a new client and you're putting them onto Kevin Murphy. Hydrate's the best beginner version of that for them because what happens is they can use it. It's lightweight. It's going to give them that luxurious and cosmetic feel that they may be used to getting from other lines. And what that means is that they're able to move over really easily, and then you can address any issues they may be having further down the track. And if you need to move them to another regimen, or you need to put some of the other regimens in with the Hydrate regimen, you can do that also. One of the things I love about Kevin Murphy is that we can mix and match everything. We can create our own regimen for our own clients that they can use themselves. So the mask is very hydrating on the hair. It's going to give it. It's really going to boost the shine in the hair as well, and it restores the moisture to the hair. It really does help to increase the elasticity and the bounce in the hair as well. Perfect for normal to dry hair. Again, you can use it on fine to normal on someone who's got quite dry and their main issue is dry hair. One of the key ingredients in here is actually vitamin A and vitamin E. So these two vitamins are present in Hydrate Me Mask. The interesting thing about those two vitamins is that they actually, when they're released into a product and they mix together, they actually have a bit of a reaction with each other. So when that happens, that's the best time to have them on the hair, on your hair or your scalp itself. So when that reaction is happening, they're giving great benefits to the hair and scalp. Now, the issue with that is if you just chuck them in a bowl or chuck them in a bottle together pre-mixed, that reaction can't last forever. It kind of peters out and they kind of cancel each other out. So if you've never seen this before, if you actually take the lid off the Hydrate Me mask and you wipe it onto your hand, you'll actually see within there's these tiny little spheres within the product, and those spheres contain the different vitamins A and E so that they're not pre-mixed in the bottle. You don't often see them when you pump it out on your hand because they're actually very delicate and they burst as they come up through the pump itself. But if you open it up and take it out, you'll be able to see them. When you rub your hands together, they will disperse and they'll burst, and those vitamins will be mixed together. And then when it goes onto the hair and scalp, it's actually the best time for it to go on while those vitamins are having that reaction. So that's an interesting thing to know about the Hydrate Me mask. Untangled is what we call our true leave-in conditioner. Again, it has that kakadu plum and the fruit extracts in there. It's going to gently help to detangle hair itself. It's full of antioxidants and vitamins. Mostly, if you open the bottle up and pour it out, you'll see that it's truly is really thick like a conditioner. So it is really like a full-on conditioner for the hair itself. So it's thick, it's luxurious, it's for those clients that really want to get that super extra boost of moisture in their hair itself. Then we have our Shimmer Shine. So Shimmer Shine belongs in the Hydrate Regimen because, believe it or not, although it's a shine spray and it seems like that's the way that you would mostly use it, it's actually a leave-in treatment first. So what does that mean is that the way it's recommended to be used, now you can use it multiple ways, but we say the best way to use it is actually to spray it into damp or towel-dried hair and then blow dry it in, so that you're actually going to get all the benefits of the moisturizing qualities of it, and you'll still get that shine as well. Can you use it afterwards on dry hair as a shine spray? Absolutely, you still can use it that way as well. But it was designed as like a leave-in first that you can blow dry in, and then you can apply over the top if needs be. So just remembering that when you use it, it has those microcrystals in there that reflect light as well. So this one's an interesting one because part of the story behind this one is that this came from highlighter technology when we look at skincare and when we're looking at things like makeup trends. So we were looking at makeup trends and stuff like that, and everybody was using highlighter. And we thought, how can we make a highlighter for the hair? So using that technology, that holographic kind of feeling of shine and creating either depth or making things stand out more, the idea of a highlighter, we're like, how can we incorporate that into a hair product? And Shimmer Shine is that hair product for us. So it's like our highlighter for the hair itself. So that is, that's Hydrate done. So we're going to move on now to repair. And just remember, guys, if there's any questions as we're going through, go ahead and type away in that chat box and let me know if you do have any particular questions in there. And we'll go through them as we go. So we're going to move on to our repair regimen. So before I even get into the Repair Me regimen and start talking about each of the products and the ingredients themselves, we might actually play the video for it.
Hi, Kevin Murphy here. I'm going to tell you about the new Repair Me range. The Repair Me range is a 3-part system that uses naturally derived superfood proteins from green peas and fruit enzymes from papaya and pineapple. Traditionally, high protein products had left a residue in the hair, making the hair feel brittle and stiff. We have found a way to encapsulate the protein within an enzyme that keeps the protein in a lipid or softened state. The enzyme keeps the protein kind of wobbly and soft. It fits exactly into the damaged site like a key in a lock. Firstly, begin with the Repair Me wash. It contains powerful protein enzymes, bamboo and nettle extracts to reconstruct and strengthen damaged hair. Next, condition with Repair Me rinse, which deposits green pea proteins that are encapsulated in fruit enzymes from pineapple and papaya. The enzymes keep the protein soft and supple, resulting in soft, repaired hair. Aloe vera gently lubricates the surface, providing a reflective shine. Restore is like a shot in the arm of concentrated protein. Restore is a no-foam cleansing treatment and it replaces your shampoo and conditioner on the day of use. So here's how it works. On Monday and Tuesday, you use Repair Me, Wash and Rinse. Then on Wednesday, you replace your wash and rinse with Restore. Restore uses no foam technology and will treat and cleanse your hair at the same time. It gives you that shot in the arm of protein without any bristleness or stiffness. So here are the results of the Repair Me Wash, Repair Me Rinse and the Restore treatment. Soft, shiny, repaired hair.
Thanks, Kev. So I'm sure Ken gave you a lot of information there. So we're going to go through a bit more of that now, and I can simplify it for you as well. So when we look at our repair regimen, within that regimen we have our wash, we have our rinse, we have our restore, which is quite a unique product, and then we also have leave-in repair. Okay, so when we go back and we look at our wash and our rinse, I want you to think of these as not like a normal wash and rinse. Because they have that green pea protein in them, they actually do have the ability to still help to repair the hair as well. So it's not just like using a normal shampoo and conditioner and then you need the treatment to actually add that protein to your hair. The wash and rinse can actually help to restore the hair as well, and actually help to give that protein to the hair that it needs, that hair that requires repair really needs. The protein that we use in our repair regimen, as Kevin mentioned, is green pea protein. We found this to be the most suitable protein to hair that we found in any plant protein. So it really does a great job of mimicking hair protein really well. And what makes it even better, as Kevin mentioned in the video, is that we found a way by using enzymes from papaya and pineapple to keep the protein soft all the time. So it still acts like a protein. It's going to help to repair the hair, but it stays soft all the time. So it won't stiffen up and make the hair feel brittle. And you can't kind of overuse it and like old school treatments in the past. So you've got that soft feeling to the hair, like it's had a moisturizing treatment, but you've actually done a great protein treatment on the hair. Restore is a very unique product, as Kevin mentioned in the video itself. So this holds the most amount of protein in it and gives you the most ability to be able to restore the hair. But I'm going to dive into it a little bit more so you understand what this product is all about. So as Kevin mentioned in the video, you can use this to replace your wash and rinse on certain days. What this means is, and we'll go back to skincare again, because I find this the best way to explain this product and get everyone to be able to understand what it does and what it is. So Restore, I want you to think about cleansers that you use on your skin in the shower or when you're doing your skin routine on your face. So we all know, we're all used to being able to use cleansers that are foaming cleansers. So think of it like a shampoo that foam up on the skin. Now, when you use those cleansers on your face and you rinse them off, the skin tends to be a little drier and a bit more tight feeling. I definitely tend to feel that anyway. But we all know also that you can actually get cream cleansers for the face as well. So a cream cleanser we'll use that quite happily on our face and still understand that that's cleansing our face, but it's leaving it more moisturized at the same time. Think of Restore like that. So think of Restore like your cream cleanser for your skin. It's a cream cleanser for your scalp and for your hair. It actually will still clean your hair. I use this product all the time myself, and I've got friends that use it as well. And you can use it, every second day if you want, and it does clean your hair more than enough for you to be able to do blow dries, do all that kind of stuff on it. As I said before, if you think about facial cleansers or oil cleansers, so oils that remove oil, we're quite happy to use those on our skin, but when we talk about hair, people get a bit dubious about whether it can actually do the job. If you haven't used it yourself and tried it, I would recommend that you do, because that'll get you to understand that it really will work for you, this product. So it's also a great one for, if you've got clients that have, like pastel colors in their hair or colors that tend to fade out quite quickly. This is a great option for them at home because they're able to cleanse their hair really gently with it. and it's not going to remove as much of those sort of colors that aren't permanent colors in the hair. It's not going to remove as much of those as quickly. The other thing that I really love it for is for anybody that has full head lighten, like their hair completely lightened. So full head bleaches or lightening, where they love to have that done to their hair, but they're always looking for a treatment or a way to look after their hair at home. Now, when we do that to the hair, it tends to need some repair. It also tends to be a lot drier as well. So a moisturizing cleanser for the hair is much better for it at home, especially. So we all know when you wash or when you freshly shampoo lightened hair that's been lightened all over, it actually, after you wash it and you rinse the shampoo out, the hair feels quite brittle and quite stiff, like it's ready to, snap off at any point. And we've got to get that rinse or that treatment into it to actually soften the hair again and get it back to a manageable state before we rinse it off and then dry it off. Now, if we skip that cleansing foaming shampoo step altogether and go straight in with a restore, you never go through that brittle stage. I think that's the stage where the hair is most vulnerable. That's the stage when clients at home often can be breaking the hair. It may not be our color services doing it, but they come back and they have some breakage. And I think it tends to be when they've washed their hair, they've scrubbed it, it goes quite stiff and quite brittle and can get a bit tangled, and then they put through their conditioner or whatever, and then they start combing through. That's the point when the hair is very vulnerable. If we skip that cleansing stage, now I'm not saying they never wash their hair and they just use restore, but do the wash with the shampoo once a week and then the rest of the time use restore on their hair. The hair never goes through that stage because it's like you're putting conditioner on the hair straight after you've wet it, so it never gets to that brittle, vulnerable state, let's say. So really good for that. So I hope that explains restore a bit more comprehensively for you guys, so you understand the product itself. And that brings us to our last product in the repair regimen, which is our leave-in repair. So our leave-in repair is going to give you that extra shot of protein that some clients may need, even if they're using a restore and everything. We want something that we can leave in where the results of it are going to actually help to stay working on the hair for a longer period of time and give it that even more extra shot of protein in the hair that's long lasting. And it's going to protect the hair as well. So you can use this on all hair types. It's not like our leave-in conditioner, so it's not going to be super softening on the hair. It's all about protecting the hair, but giving that extra boost of strength and protein to the hair as well. All right, so that is repair, guys. So we're going to move on now into volume. I will let you know, when we get to 11 o'clock, guys, we will take a 5-10 minute break. So it'll give everybody time to run off and run to the bathroom or grab a coffee or something like that as well. I know 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours of me yammering at you is quite a long time. So we're going to jump into volume now. So I guess this kind of speaks for itself in the fact that it's all about creating volume in the hair. So strength, fullness, and volume. Within the volume regimen, we've got our wash, our rinse. We have our mask as well. We also have anti-gravity, the original, one of the hero products at Kevin Murphy. We have anti-gravity spray, powder puff to give you that extra boost of volume, and then we also have bodybuilder as well. So let's first of all look at our wash, rinse, and mask. So when we look at these, some of our key ingredients in here are things like hydrolyzed oat proteins, which actually add fullness and body to the hair without adding weight to the hair. So this is all about strengthening the hair from the root so that it's going to stand up off the head and give you more volume in the hair, and strengthening through the mid-lengths and ends so it can hold that style and keep that volume in the hair as well. So it will add moisture to the hair, but without weighing it down as well. I love to use the Angel, the volume regimen and the Angel wash and rinse, and even the mask sometimes, because it is strengthening. If I had a client coming in or someone coming in that was going to have their hair styled beautifully for an event, and I needed to wash first, which in my opinion I would always do. I know we always used to tell people to come in to the salon to have their hair styled, without having washed their hair that morning. I personally don't like to do that because I don't know what I'm going to get. I would rather be in control of what's going into the hair and creating the texture that I want. So I would always use my Angel wash, rinse, and mask for those clients, regardless of their hair type, if I was styling, because I know that it's going to give me strength to the hair, and it's going to leave me with what I like to think of as like a bit of a blank canvas that I can then apply other products to that will actually create the texture that I want for that particular hairstyle itself. So really great for that. But as I said, it's about creating that strength in the hair, it's about creating that strength in the hair and giving it the volume that they're craving. So that will take us into moving into the some of the styling products within the volume regimen. So the first one is anti-gravity, all-time hero at Kevin Murphy, responsible for some of our most iconic hairstyles, and certainly responsible in the beginning of a lot of our runway hairstyles as well. This one was a revelation. This product, being an oil-free volumizer, has the ability to be reapplied to the hair, so you can apply it to damp hair, blow dry it in, but then you can also then, what we used to do is actually spray a bit more Staying Alive or some water onto the hair and reapply anti-gravity and then dry it in again. And we would keep doing that until we created these amazing voluminous hairstyles that had so much hold to them. The way that it does it, and our anti-gravity spray has a similar technology to it. It's just in spray form, so it's a bit easier to use. And the anti-gravity spray was kind of born from the idea that we were putting anti-gravity in, spraying water on, and then applying anti-gravity again. So now what we can do is actually do our first lot of using that original anti-gravity. So using this one, we can apply this to the actual hair, or to the right. I apply it right onto the scalp as well. You can blow dry that into the hair, blast dry it in before you use any hot tools or anything. And then if we feel we wanted more hold and more texture, you can go for your anti-gravity spray and spray that straight in over the top of that one, blast dry it again. If I felt that I needed to have even more volume or more strength, I would spray it in again and blow dry it in again. So that's where that sort of comes from. One of the key ingredients in here is mel. It's an enzyme from honey. The reason this is key in here is because it's very flexible. So anti-gravity is a very flexible volumizer. What that means is that it wraps itself around the hair shaft, but no matter what you do once it's dry, it stays flexible and it holds that volume. It doesn't break up as you move the hair around. So it's really good for clients that you know that you're going to blow dry their hair for them, but you know they're the client that is not, before they've even left the chair or before they've even left the salon, they're already flicking their hair around. They're already changing their part. So you need that flexible hold, because otherwise it's going to fall. The style will start to fall. So we've got a question there, which I might just jump up on the screen now. So we've got a quick question about, no, not that one, that's the other one, yep. So I find some volume products can give it a bit of a tacky feel. What about these products? So Dylan, what I find is that you can actually add in, like if you felt like as you were blow drying or using the product that it has that kind of tacky feel to it, something you can do is actually, if you don't want that tacky feel to it or you want to make it easier, is you can apply some shimmer shine over the top of them, which will actually help you to blow dry those products into the hair a little bit more. You can also add in your Young Again, so your serum into the hair. Applying that to the hair can actually make it slip through the hair a little bit easier as well. I actually love the idea that as you're drying these products off, that they go through a midpoint. I call it like the flux point in the middle, where it's not, when the hair's really wet, you can blow dry, you can run your brush or you can run your comb through really easily. When the hair's completely dried off, generally you can run the brush and everything through really easy and the hair gets quite shiny. But in that midpoint, there's a point where it does get quite sticky and quite tacky. I think that's the important point. That's where you're actually able to mold the hair itself and change the shape of the hair. And that's what you need, that tack, that stick, that flux point. We need that in our products so that they actually give you that amount of volume and hold to the hair. If you're finding that it's at the end and after it's completely dried that they're a bit tacky, maybe we've put too much product in the hair, or maybe we need to look at a different alternative for that product because that product's not reacting with their hair the way that we want it to. So I hope that answered that for you. So we're going to jump on to our next product, which is our powder puff. So powder puff is what we call a metamorphosizing product. That means that it's something that changes into something else. So inside powder puff, and generally it's a styling powder. I'm sure you've all used them a million times before and know what they do to the hair and how they feel. I find them to be a love or hate product. Some clients absolutely love them and think, where's this product been all my life? Other clients can tend to go, once you use it once and they're like, oh, that's not for me, which is absolutely fine. Everyone's in, everyone's in it for a different reason. Metamorphosizing product means that basically within powder puff, you've got these little spheres. So these little balls, okay? Inside the sphere is actually a setting paste. So it's a paste on the inside, and the outside is actually French chalk or powder, which keeps it dry. So these little tiny spheres, when we sprinkle them into the hair, what happens is they sprinkle down and they end up on the root area of the hair, and then we massage them in. When you massage them in, you break the powder on the outside and you release the setting paste on the inside. That's why if you put it on your hand and you rub it into your hand, it feels tacky sometimes, or it gets colder, because we're releasing a setting paste that's sitting on the inside of the hair. So really that whole idea of that is a delivery system to get a paste or a setting paste into the root area to lift those roots up as much as possible. So that's kind of how that works. In the old days, we used to get a wax or something, and we still do it now, and put wax or something on our fingertips and then try and get that into the root area. That's where this kind of was born from, like the idea of getting, how do we get that feeling, although that to give you volume, how do we deliver that to the scalp? And the best way to do it is something dry, because it falls straight through and it gets right to the scalp. So that's how powder puff works. And our last one in the volume regimen is bodybuilder. So this is a mousse. It's a very moisturizing mousse, this one, I find. And it's all about giving you that static hair. So what I mean by that is it has memory hold resins in this product. So similar to session spray or a hairspray, it has resins that actually hold it into shape. So I'm going to quickly digress back to anti-gravity just to give you a comparison between the two, because it's a question that we often get about what's the difference between anti-gravity and bodybuilder? Why do you have both, and why would you choose one over the other? Remember when we talked about anti-gravity, I talked about this being a product that is very flexible. This is a product for that client that likes to move their part all the time, or they're that client that's going to be running their hands through their hair constantly. They may want to restyle their hair later on in the day. They're going to definitely change their part from one side to the other 5 or 6 times a night. They need flexible hold that's going to go and do whatever their hair wants to do. Bodybuilder, on the other hand, is more of a static hold. So it's going to give you great hold on the hair, but it's very moisturizing on the hair, but it's for those clients that in particular may say that they part the hair on this side, they want it blow dried beautifully or waved beautifully with the tongs, and they're not going to touch it. They want it to stay exactly the way it is all night. So we all know when I talk about that, those two different types of clients, someone that touches their hair a lot, and then you've got someone who wants their hair to stay exactly the way that it's done in the salon until the next day, or they'd have it stay that way forever if they possibly could. So that's when you would pick up your bodybuilder, because it's going to give you that more static. Now, of course, you can still move the hair around, but the more you move it around and stuff, it's going to want to go back into the original shape that you put it in. So it's going to want to go back. It's going to sit best where you parted it, where you blow dried it to, rather than flipping it around. And it's not going to flip as easily as if you use anti-gravity itself. So I hope that explains the volume regimen for you guys quite easily, because we're going to now jump into thickening, and I'll get this one done before we take a quick break. So our thickening regimen. So thickening is all about densifying fine hair, and also dealing with anybody that might have hair fall or thinning hair, where they're getting that thinning hair feeling. So within the regimen, we have our plumping wash, plumping rinse. We have body mass, okay, which we're going to jump into the science and the technology side of body mass. Now, remember, when we talk about body mass, we can also apply what I say about this to thick again, which was at the beginning in the detoxify regimen. We also have staying alive, which is a leave-in treatment. We have full again, which is all about thickening the mid-lengths and ends of your hair. And then we also have do-over within this regimen as well. So kicking it off by looking at our plumping, wash and rinse, and we'll talk about body mass as well, because this really is a bit of a system. Now, if we think about that as a system, I'm just going to go back and let you know that you can also think of stimulating, wash and rinse, and thick again as a similar as a system that does the same thing. Okay, so we'll go back to our thickening. So what we have here is our plumping, wash, and rinse. Now, plumping, wash. Okay, so Jane Jackson's got a question here asking why is it we're going back to bodybuilder here. So why is it? Yeah, that's a good point. Next one. So why is it so cold when it first comes out of the can, bodybuilder? Give it a really good shake, but it's always quite cold because it is a mousse and it's got that thickness to it. It's not like a hairspray, so it's not a full liquid in the can. So part of what happens there is it all sits as it comes up and goes through and out the can. That first bit that comes out is actually usually quite cold. So I would tend to spray that onto a towel or something, or straight onto your hand. Also, when you're using your bodybuilder, you'll see when you press the button, when you press the nozzle, it comes out in a stream, like a string. When I use bodybuilder, I actually part the hair and I actually spray it straight onto the scalp in lines and then massage it and then blow dry with it. So instead of spraying onto your hand and trying to rub it in and get it all over the hair, spray it directly onto the hair, straight out of the can, and you can, spray it in lines all the way around the hair and then massage it in and then blow dry with it. And that's the best way to get it through. So I also got another question there from Dylan. So we also made a comment about using bodybuilder with tongs for people that like a curl. Can you explain a bit more about that? Yeah. So again, Dylan, I would only choose bodybuilder to use with your hot tools. If I was doing a style where they wanted to stay exactly where it is and they're not going to move it around a lot. So same as with blow drying, you can definitely use bodybuilder with your tongs. So you just blast dry the hair, dry it in, or blow dry it first, and then use your tongs over the top. Those memory hold resins that are in there, once you heat those around a hot tong and let them cool down, they're always going to go back into that shape. So when you brush it, or let's say someone had their hair done beautifully and they got caught in the wind and it went all over the place, if they took their brush out or a comb out and they brush their hair back into place, it's going to want to go back into the exact same shape because of those memory hold resins that are in there. If it was a client who's going to be moving, even if we used hot tools on their hair, they're going to be moving their hair around and playing with it a lot, shaking their hair around, changing their part, I would still go for our anti-gravity. I hope that explains a little more there for you. So we'll go back to thickening. So we've got our wash and our rinse. These are going to be, the wash and rinse are great for preparing the hair and scalp to receive all the benefits that we have in body mass. So when we talk about body mass, this product is unique in itself, as in it actually does a whole bunch of things for the hair and scalp. So number one, it contains those eyelash thickening technology, which we spoke about earlier. This helps to thicken the hair instantly. So it's going to give someone who has fine hair or thin hair the feeling of thick hair straight away. And people want that when they have fine hair. They want to feel like their product's working for them straight away. That's the reason that we included it in this product. Part of that is to get them to understand, to trust the product that is giving you that fullness and that thickness straight away. But this also works on a deeper level as well. So it works on the follicle itself also. So it helps to grow hair thicker, fuller, and stronger, and it helps to combat anything to do with hair fall. Now, the science part of it really is all about the growth phases of hair. So we all know we have like three phases of hair growth. Now, I kind of put them really simply instead of in their science terms, and I just say we've got our growing phase. So this is where the hair is growing. Then we have our next phase, which is what we would call, say, our dormant phase, where the hair's not growing anymore, but it's also still firmly attached to the scalp, but it's not falling out. And then you have our fallout phase. So this is the phase where the hair begins to fall from the scalp. So it's loosening from the follicle, and then it's going to fall out. Now, anybody that has fine hair or thinning hair, or some clients that say they have so much hair and they brush all the time, or you have those clients that say they can only grow the hair to here, and it's very hard for them to get it to grow any further. Their main problem most of the time is that their growing phase is very short. So the hair only grows for a very short period of time. Then their dormant phase is usually quite short as well. So it's only attached to the scalp firmly for a short period of time. And then their fallout phase is rather long. So there's constantly hair in fall. There's constant hair in the fallout phase rather than being in the growing phase. or the dormant phase. So how body mass works is it actually helps to boost and kickstart some of those follicles into staying in the growth phase for longer and staying in the dormant phase for longer. So people aren't necessarily getting more hair on their head and regrowing hair. What is happening is if there's more hair in the growing phase and in the dormant phase than there is in fallout, it will feel and look like you have more hair. It will look and feel, you will feel like you definitely have more hair because more hair is growing for a longer period of time and it's staying on the head for a longer period of time. It's not falling out all the time. So it does this with a few different things. It helps to increase the circulation. It has particular ingredients inside itself, like celery extract. This celery extract helps to keep that hair in that growing phase for a longer period of time. So the way this is used is to be applied onto the scalp. You don't need to put tons of it on. That's one mistake that people make with it, is that they tend to overuse this product because they feel like my hair's thinning, I need to use a product to stop it, so I'm going to put tons of it on. What happens if you put tons of it on, because it has a styling aspect of that eyelash thickening technology, is that they're going to feel like the hair's quite sticky when they style it. So you only need to put like 5 or 6 sprays into the scalp area. What that will do is actually it'll filtrate itself through into the follicles and start to do its job there as well. So that's kind of how this product actually works. It works in our product testing side of things. It works on 67% of people found that the test subjects that we used it on, 7% found an increase in their hair growth and their hair thickness. So it's definitely not a miracle cure. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for every single person. But let me tell you, for the people that it does work for, they'll never stop using it. It's what you call a forever product as well, which means that if it's working for someone and they're getting results, you have to keep using it. And the more often you use it, the better. So it's best to be used then. So we've got another question there. I knew I was going to get a few questions on this one. So we've got another question there from Dylan. So how many times a week would you use this and just on their scalp? So yes, it's just for on the scalp. So it does mean that you don't necessarily have to use any other volumizing products on the scalp because it already has that thickening and volumizing technology in it. But yeah, it is just for the scalp. You don't need to put it on the mid-lengths or the ends because it's not going to give, it's an expensive way to give hold to the mid-lengths and ends. And it's not going to give any of the benefits of thickening the hair in that regard. There's other products you can use in the mid-lengths and ends that will give you that result. How many times a week? If someone's got a real issue with hair falling and hair thinning, they should use this product if they can do it every day, especially at the beginning until they start to get the results, then they should do it every day. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, and you may say, wow, that's too much for people to use that every single day, especially if you have to wash your hair every day. But if someone has a true issue with hair thinning and this fixes it for them, they will definitely do it every day. I know I certainly would if I felt like it was fixing a problem if my hair was thinning, I would definitely use it every single day. Now, that doesn't mean they've got to use it every single day forever. Every day until you start to see those results, and then they can start cutting back to doing it 3 times a week, 2 times a week. But definitely straight onto the scalp. It's best done on hair that's freshly washed using the plumping wash because it prepares the scalp to receive all the ingredients in the body mass itself. So it's best done freshly washed hair. Can you use it on hair that's not freshly washed? Yes, you can, but it won't be as effective because the scalp would have produced the acid mantle again, and the ingredients will have a harder time getting down and into the follicle. So best used on freshly washed hair. I hope that answers that for you. We'll go back to thickening. Okay, so keep the questions coming, guys, if you've got any more. Staying Alive is our leave-in treatment. So our leave-in treatment, that's for fine hair. This one's fantastic for anyone that has fine hair because they tend not to want to use a leave-in treatment or a leave-in conditioner because they find it weighs their hair down and makes it feel limp. The great thing about this one, and you'll know it if you just spray it on your hands, it doesn't feel slippery and creamy like a leave-in treatment or conditioner normally would. The reason this is perfect for finer hair is that it actually helps to shut the cuticle down. And that means that it actually acts a bit like a shine spray without using a shine spray because it shuts that cuticle down and it makes the hair shinier. So it's the perfect leave-in treatment for anybody that has finer hair that feels that something with more, I guess, creaminess or more moisturizers in it are going to weigh the hair down too much. It helps to shut that cuticle down. So hence why that's also a part of our finishing regimen when we talk about color. So really good one for that. Full Again's been around for a long time and it's probably a bit of a misunderstood product at the beginning. Full Again is actually one about the first product we ever brought out with eyelash thickening technology in it. Now, it's a thickening lotion for anyone with finer hair or that would like to thicken their hair up. It's perfect to use in the mid-lengths and ends. So we always recommend using this mid-lengths to ends. And then in the root area, you could use your body mass. But in the root area, you could also use body builder or you could use anti-gravity as well to give you the volume and thickness that you want. And then this through the mids and ends. It's very weightless on the hair, but it will make the hair feel fuller and thicker. So someone has a bob that's a bit thin, they could use this and blow dry it in, get that thickness to it. I used to use it a lot all the time on my clients that would come in who already had thick hair, and I would do waves in their hair. And they always wanted their hair as thick as it could possibly be. And I found by using this on hair that's already thick makes it even thicker, and those clients absolutely love it. So using it in the mid-lengths and ends. And then we have do-over, but instead of me telling you all about do-over, I think we can have Kevin tell you about do-over.
Hi, Kevin Murphy here. I'm going to tell you why I decided to make do-over. Whether you're in a photo shoot or in our everyday lives, volume that lasts can be very elusive. I took ideas from dry shampoo because I knew that powder adds volume by making the spaces between the hair greater. We used moulding resin from traditional hairspray because I knew it gave a fantastic weightless hold. The combination of ingredients like tapioca and silica add shine and flexibility. Spray onto pre-dried hair in short bursts to get volume wherever you need it. Spray onto the roots to the mid-lengths to create limitless texture with a soft lived-in look. So here is the final result of our latest product, Do-Over.
All right, thank you, Kev. So I think Kev told you mostly everything that you need to know about Do-Over there. It's a bit of a combination between a dry shampoo and a hairspray. Making sure that when you use this product that you really shake the can really well before use, okay, and during use as well. As you heard Kevin say in the video, using short, sharp bursts to apply it to the hair does a couple of things. It actually helps to stop the nozzle from blocking up. I know that's probably a question I'm going to get. It helps to stop the nozzle from blocking up, but what it also does is if you use short, sharp bursts instead of big bursts or long bursts with it, short, sharp bursts means that when the product hits, it actually sticks to the hair. If you use long bursts, okay, what happens is it tends to bounce off the hair and fill the room. I'm sure you've all witnessed that and had that happen to you before, where you use Do-Over and next thing you're in a cloud of Do-Over. It smells great, but it's not fantastic when it goes up your nose and right down your throat. So those short, sharp bursts, when they hit, they'll stick to the hair, rather than if you go like this, it'll hit the hair, but a lot of it will bounce off. So use those short, sharp bursts. And remember, give that can a really good shake every single time you use it and between each time you use it as well. All right, so we had Jane Jackson say that they love the smell of Do-Over. So thanks for that. It is a great smell. It does fill the room. You know, it's not the best. You can get sick of that smell if you're doing fashion week or something and you've got 20 hairdressers all using Do-Over in a small space. Let me tell you. But Do-Over is absolutely one of our favorites. Absolutely one of the go-to products on all of our shoots, and when we do fashion weeks and stuff like that, it's probably the most used product, and probably one of Kevin's most used sentences is yelling out more Do-Over when we're doing shoots and stuff like that. So before we jump into smooth, guys, I think we will take a quick 10-minute break for everybody so that you can grab a coffee, all that sort of stuff before we move on, because I know we've been going for over an hour now. So let's take a 10-minute break and we will all be back on here in 10 minutes. So that would be at 20 past 11 Melbourne time. Okay, so I'll see you back on here at 20 past 11. Enjoy your break. Sorry, I just started rattling on there and I just realized I'm on mute. Um, I've only done 1 million of these things now and I still forget to take myself off mute. So there you go. So I was just saying we're going to jump into our smooth regimen. So this really is all about, taming that unruly or coarse, thick, frizzy hair. Smoothing out the cuticle is what it's really all about. So within the regimen itself, we have our wash, our rinse, and we also have our smooth again anti-frizz treatment. So when you think of the smooth regimen, I don't want you to think of straight hair. It's a regimen that is all about smoothing down the cuticle of the hair, adding moisture to the hair, and then repelling bad moisture that might want to get into the hair, like humidity and things like that interfere with the way we do hair. One of its best abilities of this regimen is to actually fight frizz. So it helps to stop frizz. So when we think of frizz, you can think of clients that have curly hair often complain about frizz. So don't think that you can't use smooth on a client that has thick, coarse, curly hair that deals with a lot of frizz. It will smooth out the cuticle, but they'll still have curly hair. The hair will still look beautiful and curly. It won't wave it out, it won't straighten it out, but it will smooth that cuticle down and actually fight that frizz, so it stops that frizz from happening. And as I said before, probably the smooth again itself, the anti-frizz treatment, actually works best and has the best ability to fight things like humidity. So if you're in a humid climate, if you're further up north in Australia in summer where it gets quite humid, this product will actually help to fight that humidity, stops that moisture from getting in and changing the shape of the hair or making it frizz up as well. So that's smooth. Now we've got a really exciting one, which is blow dry. So this one is absolutely brand new. That's our blow dry regimen. I've actually got them sitting here on my desk, so they're quite new. I've got the samples, so we've got them sitting here. So blow dry is comes with 4 products in the regimen. It is its own regimen now. Some of the things that you'll see in here is that the thing that runs through all of these that makes them really, really different is that they have long chain polymer technology. So what these long chain polymers do, by incorporating them with other ingredients, we're able to get them to do what we want them to do, whether that's to lift the hair, to add bounce to the hair, to smooth the hair, to give volume to the hair itself. We're able to get that. We're able to thicken the hair as well. We're able to actually help get them to do that. Now, these long chain polymers are heat activated. So all of these products, when I run through them and tell you what each one you can use them for and what they can do, all of these are heat activated products. So you need to blow dry them in or use a hot tool over the top of them to get the most benefit out of them. Those long chain polymers, once they are heat activated, they lock across each other and they stay on the hair and they keep the hair in the shape or however we might like the hair to be. It keeps it in that way. So the first one that we're looking at here is we've got our Ever Smooth. So you would remember this one. It was in slightly different packaging. It's gone into the new packaging now, and it still is all about smoothing that cuticle out for anybody. But it's completely weightless. Contains our wood bark complex. So this wood bark complex creates great resilience to the hair and stops that humidity and stuff from getting into the hair itself. We also have Ever Lift. So Ever Lift is about volumizing the hair. This has our Zen complex in it, which is a mix of Arctic root extracts. So these Arctic root extracts, they have a powerful concentration of antioxidants in them, and they can help to fight stresses from the environment, and they're very resilient as well. So this will give you that volume in the hair that people are craving now. As we go through these, you're probably thinking, well, how is different from, say, the volume regimen or from anti-gravity? The difference is the technology. These are heat activated. They literally, you put these in the hair and you blow dry, you'll get what you want out of them, but the hair will literally feel like it almost has nothing in it, which is great. It hits that spot for those people in the market who don't like the feeling of having any product in the hair. This will hit those people, and they'll love these products because it won't feel like they've got tons of product in their hair. But you can cross them over. These products would always need to be the first product that's applied to the hair. So you apply any of your Evers first because they need to sit right on the cuticle to work really well. But you could apply your anti-gravity over the top if you're looking to get that, still have that anti-gravity texture to the hair. If you want the volume without the texture, just go for your Evers by themselves. We also have Ever Bounce. Now, Ever Bounce is a great one to use if you're going to not just do a blow dry, but if you're going to blow dry it in and then use hot tools over the top and get that real bounce into the hair. So this one has the phytonutrient complex in it. So it has particular ingredients like silver linden that's found in Turkey that are like powerful plant extracts. And they're going to work in conjunction with things like the Waratah flower extract, which is a potent phytoactive. And it's going to helps with the condition of the hair and to protect the hair at the same time. But great for using your hot tools over the top of. Our last one but not least is our Ever Thicken. So again, this one can be used. Really great option for those clients to do body mass on the roots and then do their Ever Thicken through the mid-lengths and ends to help thicken that hair out. Again, though, remember heat activated, so you want to be using heat with all of these products when you use them. So that brings us to our curl regimen. So within our curl regimen, we have our Easy Rider. We have Killer Curls. We have Motion Lotion. And then we also have Killer Waves. So we think you've got you covered in the curl part of things when it comes to these products at Kevin Murphy. And I'm just going to go through each of them and tell you why you choose one over the other and what they do. So our Easy Rider is like a really strong vitamin-rich cream. And it really is a cream. You can apply it to curly hair when it's wet and then diffuse dry it in or allow it to dry naturally. Now, when you do this, this product is really designed to control frizz and to, I guess, weigh hair down a little bit. So for the client who has like crazy curly hair and they're always trying to find something to tame it a little bit because it gets a bit too wild for them, Easy Rider is your go-to. So think of taming the curls. So taming the frizz, bringing the curls down, adding a bit of weight to that hair to bring it all down a little bit. Then you've got Killer Curls, which is kind of the opposite of what Easy Rider does. So this is for someone, the client that really loves their curls. They want their curls to be as big and as bouncy and as activated as possible. This is where I would go for Killer Curls. It gives you great hold on the hair. It's going to get rid of frizz in the hair, but it's all about activating those curls, and it's almost like a curl volumizer for the hair. So I think someone that really wants to activate curl, they want their hair as big and as curly as they can have it. But of course, like all curly hair clients, they want to remove frizz and they want to have a bit of hold, but not like too much of a crunchy hold or anything on there. Then we have Motion Lotion. So Motion Lotion, as it says on the bottle, is a curl enhancing lotion. This is all about keeping their curl pretty much the way it is, the way it naturally is, but removing frizz and giving it a little bit of hold and then adding some of those ingredients that make it, flexible, but also things that deliver moisture and stuff and nourishment to the hair itself. So think of it like when the client comes back from the basin and they're towel dried, and if they look in the mirror and they go, I want my curls to be just like they are now, but the hair to be dry, that's where Motion Lotion comes in. It's about enhancing the natural curl and natural texture that they already have. And then last up, we have our Killer Waves. So Killer Waves is a spray. It's great for fine curly hair. So it sort of hits that gap in there that we had where we wanted something for people with curly hair, but they have fine hair. They're not trying to weigh it down. They're not keeping it just the way it is. Even Motion Lotion may be a little bit too heavy for them. This is a great one for them. They can spray it on. It'll thicken their hair up a bit, but it'll also give them that hold and get rid of frizz, but also hold it all together and give them a bit of volume as well, and won't be too full on like a cream or a lotion can be for fine curly hair clients. This one is a great one to use in conjunction with any of the others as well, because you can use it like a finishing spray, which I find really, really great about this is like after you use any of the other products, you can spray this over the top as a finishing spray. It works really well. And it's also great as a day 2 or day 3 refresher. So for those clients that might use Killer Curls, say, and then they're not wetting their hair every single day, they wake up the next day and their hair's gone a bit crazy, spray some Killer Waves on, scrunch it into the hair to just activate those curls again and actually settle them down and get rid of a bit of that frizz. So anyone that uses Motion Lotion, Easy Rider, Killer Curls can use Killer Waves as their next day refresher on the hair. So spraying it in, scrunch it in, and it'll just refresh the hair a bit. All right, next up we have blonde. So pretty self-explanatory, this one. It is a blonde regimen, but don't think of it just for blondes. We find this great and people use it a lot in different places. It's a big seller in places like Hong Kong and Taiwan because they use it on their clients that have brown hair, because they generally are lifting their hair up from like a level 2 or a 3 and they're going up to a 5 or a 6. They're not going blonde as such, but they tend to throw that yellow or orange hue underneath that color. So as the color fades out, it can tend to throw underneath. There's that reflex sitting underneath those colors. This can actually go over the top of that and help to keep that cool reflect going, which they all really want. So you've got a wash. You've also got a treatment. And then we also have our Shimmer Me Blonde as well. So these are all great products. The reason we have a wash and we have a treatment is that you can choose to use one or the other, or for someone who really wants to get as icy as possible, they can use all of them if they want to. They can use all 3 products if they really want to. Difference between the wash and the rinse really is all about it has those light reflective pigments in there. They're going to reflect back a cool thing, a cool reflection to the hair. The difference between the two really is like, if someone has quite damaged hair, I would tend to use the wash on them because you'll get a more even result over if you use the treatment on someone who has, if they've got quite a bit of porosity or damage in the hair, especially if it's not evenly throughout the hair, if it's a lot in the ends or something. If you use the treatment, it's going to deposit more where that damage is, because that's the nature of a treatment or a conditioner. It will deposit more where there's more damage in the hair, and that's where you can get that patchy result. So I tend to get them to use the wash more and use a normal conditioner, but they could still 100% use the Shimmer Me Blonde on towel dried hair and then blow dry it in, and as a shine spray as well. And it works. The technology behind this is the same as Shimmer Me that we talked about earlier, the same as Shimmer Shine. Okay, so that's our blonde regimen. We're going to move on now into our Rejuvenate, because we still got quite a few products to go before we get to the end, and I really want to make sure we get all the way through, guys. So we're going to look at Rejuvenate. So Rejuvenate is all about antioxidants. So antioxidants, as you might know in the skincare industry, anything that is high in antioxidants, or every time they find a new source of antioxidants, which they do find these all the time, they're basically anti-aging on the hair. So anything that's full of antioxidants is going to be helpful in anti-aging on the hair itself. Aging on hair is described in many different ways, and I'm just going to go through how we talk about it at Kevin Murphy. So within our Rejuvenate regimen, we have our Young Again wash, our Young Again rinse, we have our Young Again mask, we have straight up Young Again, and then we also have the newest addition to the Rejuvenate line, which is our Young Again dry conditioner. Now, when we talk about hair being younger, a lot of people would say, well, what are some of the ways that hair ages? I mean, I don't know, can you guys think of any off the top of your head that you might want to type away in the chat box and tell me, how do you think hair ages? As in, what are some of the causes that can make hair age? So if we think about certain things that would make the hair, I guess, deteriorate or look older, what would some of those things be? There's some really big ones in there. There's one of the ones that's a real main ones. Yep, so we've got Dylan writing heat tools. Absolutely. So heat tools is what we describe as mechanical aging. Yep, so James saying the same thing, mechanical damage. So heat tools is mechanical aging. So that's from like blow drying, or we all know everybody at one point was using their straightening irons too much. So when that was happening, a lot of people were, their hair was actually getting damage all around the hairline here a lot. And that was from people straightening their hair every single day with their irons on, of course, as hot as they would possibly go. And what happens is that damage deteriorates the hair. It's oxidizing the hair, the heat, and it deteriorates it. We also had environment and sun, salt, and water. And again, that is environmental aging. So, and that's exactly right. Things like the environment we live in, like people that live in the city are going to have more toxins and stuff and pollution in their hair from the outdoors. Sun, salt, and salt water absolutely ages the hair. Someone can have black hair, and if they start surfing every day and being out in the surf or in the sun at the beach every single day, their hair is going to change color completely. And that's oxidization due to the environment that they're in. So there's that environmental aging factor. We also have, Jane has just written it there, the biggest one is color or chemical aging. When we put color on the hair, we are aging the hair. That's essentially what we're doing, because we are putting an oxidant on the hair, which is oxidizing the hair. And the most highest form of that is lightening the hair. Lightening the hair is oxidizing it and prematurely or speeding up the aging process on the hair in a very short period of time, which makes it lose all its color and it goes blonde. So that's where our Rejuvenate regimen can come into play. And I guess one of the other ones is chronological, what we say chronological aging, which is when the hair, the two things we're looking at here is when the hair, if we don't cut it for a long time, it gets really long. The hair that's really long on the ends is going to be quite aged, okay? So it's going to be quite oxidized just from the environment. And the other one is when the hair, like my hair, you can see, when it goes grey, okay? When the hair goes grey, that's also a part of the aging process. And often when hair goes grey, it can lose a lot of moisture, a lot of oil as well in the hair. And that's where Rejuvenate jumps in. So we're not talking about someone that has got lots of damage in their hair from these different aspects of aging. If someone's got a lot of damage in their hair and we're trying to address someone that might have a little, porous or actual damage in the hair, we would still go back to our repair. Okay, we'd still be looking at repair, not rejuvenate. But if you've used repair on their hair and you've got their hair into a good state, then your Young Again can be something that can be used, or your Rejuvenate regimen can be something that can be used to keep up with all of that, all of those everyday things. So think of it in those terms of like keeping up with it. It's like a vitamin that you would take every day that's going to help out with all of that. So that's where our wash, our rinse, and our mask can come into play really, really well. Quick tip on the mask, very important, and what I would say is that works really well is like this needs to be rinsed really well. It's got some ingredients there that like to cling onto the hair very well. So make sure that you tell your clients to give it a really good rinse when they rinse it out. Something that can work even better is actually to do the rinse over the top after the mask. So do the mask, rinse it out, and then do the rinse over the top. And that will actually make sure that we're getting all of that mask out of the hair, because it's very rich and very luxurious. It needs to be rinsed really, really well out of the hair. Our Young Again treatment, a serum. So our serum here can be used onto damp hair and blow dried in, but it also can be used onto dry hair as well, just to give that extra kick of antioxidants and moisture onto the hair. It's actually great to use into damp hair, simply because you apply this to damp hair, because it is an oil base, but it actually absorbs into the hair. So if you put it on your hand, you'll find if you put a bit on your hand and rub it in and leave it there for a minute, not even a minute, and go back to it, it'll be gone. It'll absorb into the skin. Because it does that on the hair as well, it pushes moisture out. So it actually makes your blow dry time faster too. So that's a really good tip with that one. And then we've got our Young Again dry conditioner, but I think I'm going to let Kevin tell you guys about this one.
Hi, Kevin Murphy here. I wanted to tell you why I decided to make the Young Again Dry Conditioner Spray. I wanted to make a rejuvenating spray that restored softness and a velvety feel to dry, brittle hair. A dry conditioner is a dry oil that works like an instant conditioning treatment that hydrates dehydrated and colour treated hair. It's a super fine mist that allows you to hydrate the hair in between washes, and it restores that silky, velvety feel. We added vitamin B to make the hair easier to brush and to give a silky satin finish. We added baobab and babasu oil to provide softness and moisture. We used sunflower seed extracts along with a range of other ingredients to protect coloured hair from the drying effects of the sun. To use, simply spray it all over to rejuvenate your style. So here are the final results of the Young Again Dry Conditioner Spray. Soft, silky hair with a velvety feel.
Thanks, Kev. So I think Kev told you everything you need to know about the Young Again dry conditioner. All I would add to that is that, we've had dry shampoo for a long time, which is great for anybody who wakes up the next day with a bit of an oily scalp or their hair's like limp and falling down and they want to liven it up again. Dry conditioner is fantastic for those clients that usually wake up and their hair's dry and it's all over the place and they're like, oh, I'm going to have to restyle it or put it all back together. Go in with your dry conditioner. Again, same advice as with Duo. Like, give the can a really good shake. Do short, sharp bursts, which will help it to stick to the hair rather than bouncing off and going in the air. And then brush it through and it feels like you've conditioned your hair when you actually haven't. I see Jane down there said that I wasn't grey when they were at Osdare. Think of it as wisdom. Okay, I will. When was that? How long ago was that? Did I go grey that quickly? All right. So remember, guys, if you've got any questions, throw them in as we go along because we're going to move on now to our texture regimen. Okay, so within our texture regimen, we've got, as we just talked about before, our fresh hair, which is our dry shampoo. We've got hair resort, and we have our hair resort spray. So fresh hair is, as is explained, is our dry shampoo. Great for any of those clients that wake up in the morning or throughout the day feel like their hair's starting to fall down on them. They get a bit of an oily or sluggish scalp and they want to refresh it a bit. Going in and spraying into the root area from a distance, not too close. Allow that powder, that fresh hair powder, to sit in the hair and absorb everything up that it needs to go. Okay, it was 10 years ago. That's fantastic. That makes me feel good. I was like, when was this, like 2 years ago? So I've gone grey over the last 10 years. That's okay, I think. So this one, sprayed into the hair, allow that powder to sit in the hair, absorb the oils and the toxins and the debris in the hair. And then the best thing you can do after that with this is the way it should be used, is to then use a towel or a brush to try and brush that powder out of the hair. So you're removing some of that powder from the hair as well. Some people do just spray it in and leave it, which is fine. But I think it works better if you can brush it out or towel it out a little bit, because the powder's soaking it up and then you remove it and then it is just like a shampoo. Then we have our Hair Resort Beach Texturizer, one of the originals again. This one is great for using in multiple different ways. You can use it like a gel, so like an old school kind of gel in the hair for shorter hairstyles. But it works really well if you do waves or something in the hair using hot tools, and then you can apply this at the end and scrunch it into the hair to kind of mess it up and give it more that beachy kind of alternate look to the hair itself. It was the product that Kevin created that iconic beach look that he was going for. Once again, we use this a lot at fashion weeks and stuff like that. What was born from that was Hair Resort Spray. So this is I guess a more user-friendly and more consumer-friendly version of Hair Resort. Is more multifaceted in the way that you can use it, because you can use this on damp hair and blow dry it in and use hot tools over the top of it, but you can also use it as a finishing spray as well. I think it works really well like that. One of my favorites actually is to use this as a working spray when I'm doing things like ponytails or slick hairstyles. The reason that I use this is because it goes on quite wet. It means you can slick the hair down really well. It goes super shiny when it dries. But the thing is that because it's not as strong as, say, session spray, you can actually brush it out really easily afterwards and start again if you stuff it up. So, we all know when we're doing ponytails, sometimes they don't go to plan. You need to do it again. This product is great for doing that. You can still go over the top with your hairspray or your session spray afterwards, but I find as a working spray, this works really well. Only if you're doing that slick kind of work. All right, so that brings us to style and control. So our style and control is all about all of our products that help to mold hair. They're high performance formulas that help with shine. They're controlling. We are able to mold with them and things like that. We're going to kick it off by looking at our tubs. So we've got our Night Rider. We've got Rough Rider, Super Goo, and we also have our Freehold. So we'll talk about Rough Rider and Night Rider first. Now, Night Rider and Rough Rider are often said to be similar products, which I agree and disagree with. The one thing that's similar about them is they're quite strong hold. Now you'll see that Night Rider is the strongest hold, as you can see with the 3 dots on it, and saying that it's very strong hold with a matte finish. Rough Rider only has 2 dots on it, so medium to strong hold with a matte finish, so very similar. The difference between the two is that Night Rider was created with a setting paste inside it, with a setting lotion inside it, which means that once it's out and you're using it and working it into the hair, as soon as that Night Rider dries, it sets in place, which means it stays exactly where you put it. It's not going to be easy for someone later on to move their hair around or change their hair too much or restyle it because it's set in place. Okay, so it's like stick and stay. Whereas Rough Rider still has that strong hold. Some people think it has a stronger hold, and it probably does, but because this is more wax based and has that strong hold, but you can move it around. Okay, well, because you can move it around, it's known to be, we say that it has not as strong a hold as Night Rider because you can move it later on. You can restyle the hair. Night Rider's going to want to stay there right where it is. So we had a question there from Dylan saying that they find that Night Rider is hard to get out of the hair. Night Rider or Rough Rider, Dylan? I've always found Rough Rider a little harder to get out, but either or. A little tip with some of these things like our waxes and stuff like that. This is a bit of a pro tip for you, really, is that, yeah, so you meant Rough Rider? I thought so. Rough Rider is harder to get out of the hair because it's more wax-based. So when we wash it, so when we go ahead and we wash the hair with like a cleansing shampoo or a foaming shampoo or something, it's hard for it to break into that wax base and to get it out of the hair. So here's a little pro tip for you guys, for even for your clients who use a lot of wax-based, like waxes and stuff. If they're finding hard to get out of the hair, use Restore. Because it's a cream or more of an oil-based cleanser, it will absorb into the Rough Rider, the wax itself, and bring it out. Okay, I know this because on a shoot we used a black wax on a blonde guy's hair to turn his hair black, and then we couldn't get it out afterwards using maxi wash, anything. It would not come out of his hair, and I thought, oh, we're going to be in trouble for this one. It was a model, and Kev came along and just said, try using Restore because it's oil or cream based, and we used Restore and it came straight out. So think about using Restore for any of those clients. Okay, next up we've got our Super Goo. So Super Goo is our, can be sort of, I guess Super Goo is misunderstood a little bit. It looks a bit scary when it comes out of the tub because it's so sticky and flexible, but it doesn't dry that way in your hair. I actually use it in my hair and it's really soft in your hair. It's great to mix a little bit of water or Staying Alive with it and put it into towel dried hair and then just let it dry. You can use it as a product to slick hair back as well, give you a natural finish. It's got quite high shine to it. You can also use it, it's great to mix in and try it on curly hair as well. I find it works very well on curly hair. And we also use it as like a shine spray. So it's like a shine serum on steroids. Put a small amount on your hands and go over the top of a hairstyle, and it will give you shine, but it will push down all of those flyaways and they won't pop back up again. So it can work really well like that. Free hold sits right in the middle. It's kind of medium hold, medium shine. And it's definitely for a client that likes to have the look of product in their hair. I find this was really great for those clients who like to feel and look like they've got a bit of product in their hair. Free hold's going to work really, really well for them. Then we're going to come down to our session spray. So session spray is like what I would call an original working spray. I know this is something that in the industry, a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's quite wet, so how do you call it a working spray? For me, that's what a working spray is because I can do everything with this product. If I was told I was only allowed to have one product to go and do a whole bunch of stuff with, this is the one that I would take with me. You could control how wet or dry it goes onto the hair with, which is with the distance that you spray it from. So further away is dry, obviously. As you move closer, it's going to go onto the hair wetter. Has those memory hold resins in it. It's going to give you great hold, but you can also brush through it as well. And it does brush out really easily without giving you all that flakiness and powderiness as well. So I love it because you can make slick hairstyles that have so much hold. It's crazy, but I also can do light, fluffy waves and curls in the hair with it, and it allows me to work with it and get the hair to do exactly what I want it to do. So that's one of my favorite things about it. If you want more of a flash dry hairspray or a hairspray that's like a bit more flexible, or that gives you, some hold, but a flexible hold, and you can move it and use it a bit more in that way, then Session Spray Flex is really great for that. Great for consumers to be able to use at home because it doesn't have that traditional hairspray feel to it. Goes on a bit drier. Still has those memory hold flexible, like the memory copolymers in there that actually give you that hold in the hair and that memory in the hair when you use it, but a bit more lightweight. Bedroom hair, I love this product because this gives you that ultimate messed up kind of tussled texture in the hair and does it instantly. As soon as you spray this product onto the hair after you've done beautiful waves or something into the hair, you can really get that instant texture and that instant separation in the hair so quickly with this product. Again, like with all of our aerosols, give it a really good shake before you use it. And again, I still like to use those short, sharp bursts when I'm using the bedroom hair, just to give you that perfect, I just woke up like this look. And then last of all, we have our touchable. And I believe I'm going to let Kevin tell you a little bit about this one.
Hi, Kevin Murphy here. I want to tell you why I decided to make the touchable finishing spray. So I was looking for a finishing product that maintains texture and hold to reinforce the appearance of separation. So touchable finishing spray completes that perfectly imperfect look without the stickiness of a traditional spray wax. Touchable won't weigh your hair down, it'll add a natural texture with a satin finish. So regardless of your hair shape or length, Touchable will deliver that coveted textured finish with a flexible hold. So we added sea lavender for moisture, carrot seed oil for shine, and hibiscus extracts for strength. So essentially we are taking the attributes of a wax with the convenience of a spray. So here are the final results of the Touchable finishing spray.
All right, thank you, Kevin. So as Kevin told you everything there that you need to know about Touchable, really was designed so that we could get that wax look to the hair without having to use a tub and try and get it through longer hair. So great for short hairstyles as well, absolutely. But it really gives you the ability, especially if you're doing creative work, if you're doing any work for runway shows or for photo shoots and stuff, to have that ability to be able to get that wax look to the hair without having to take a wax from a tub and try and drag it through the hair where we start to drag the style itself out. This works so perfectly for that, and it can give anybody that feeling, that look of that wax kind of look in the hair, but it comes in the lightness of a spray. So, and it doesn't get that too much of that sticky feeling for it. You don't have to wait for ages for that wax to dry out. So that's our texture regimen. Now we're going to get to almost our last regimen here, which is Protect. It's a very lonely regimen, this one. It only has one product in it at this point in time. I don't know whether it's ever going to get any friends or not, but Heated Defense is that product. It's going to give you that heat protection up to 232 degrees Celsius. Comes in a foam form, so it's not an aerosol, but it's a pump foam. So you pump it you can pump it onto your hands, or you can pump it directly onto the hair itself and then comb it through the hair. What this will do is give you that degree of heat protection. It's going to add some shine. It has some ingredients in there that are very good for the hair, like things like hydrolyzed quinoa, which will help to maintain the moisture and help give good condition to the hair and create a protective barrier, but very lightweight. But it won't weigh the hair down too much or anything like that either. So it's not going to give you hold or any of those things. It's purely all about that heat protection. And the last one is our treatments and Treat Me. Okay, so I'm sure you've used these before. So our Treat Me is here. Don't know why Siri's trying to talk to me. So Treat Me. So we have our Strength Correct and our Moisture Correct. They're all about adding into your current. We talked about KMXs before. You can add a Treat Me into your KMX by slotting it in where the mask would sit. So you can put that in where the mask would sit and still do your conditioner afterwards. And it's a great way to treat different hair concerns of different people by being able to add those into your KMX or your Kevin Murphy treatment. So someone might have an issue with having dry hair, but they also want to strengthen their hair as well. So you could actually use your Repair Me Wash and Rinse, which will add strength to the hair, but you can use your Moisture Treat Me. So you're adding that protein and that strength to the hair, but you're adding in the moisture by using the Treat Me in between. So think of it in a different way where you can deal with multiple hair issues on someone rather than thinking, okay, if I'm using moisture, then I should use Hydrate. Not necessarily the case. If someone's after strength in their hair, but they want moisture as well, you could go Maxi Wash, Hydrate Wash, Strength Treat Me, and then Hydrate Rinse. So you're killing two birds with one stone. Okay, so you're getting the moisture in the hair, but you're getting the strength in there as well. All right, guys, that is pretty much it. I actually got through everything. So there was a lot of information there, I know. And I'm sorry if I felt like I was talking through some of that a bit rushed, but the aim was to get through it all in 2 hours, and that's what we do. Also, we've got a couple of new things, Kevin Murphy. One of the new things is to become a Kevin Murphy Education Insider. So you can scan the QR code there, and it'll take you there to the website and how you can actually sign up for this. So if you become a part of this Education Insider, you'll get exclusive emails that'll just go to you guys, that'll give you an inside updates on things that are happening with the brand, new things that are coming out like pod classes, collection techniques, and also inspirational content from the global team as well. So you can sign up by going to that QR code right there. The other one is our podcast channel. So if you haven't already joined up or jumped on that and subscribed, you can go to our Conversations with Kevin podcast channel. There is so much content on there when it comes to not just coloring or cutting or styling hair, but business. It's about the world, about the way things are changing within the hair industry. It's about trends. It's a great one to have on in the car or something, or if you just want to catch up on something. Or if there's also podcasts on there on every single regimen that we just talked about today that give you a refresher where you can just listen to it in the car. You don't have to be anywhere at a particular time to do it. Another one is, don't forget, you can jump on the YouTube channel, okay? And we'll have lots of stuff happening on the YouTube channel with all the great videos that we create, all the techniques and all the product videos on there as well. That's also a really good one to subscribe to and to sign up to as well. And of course, last but definitely not least is our Facebook Lives and KMTV. If you haven't seen any of those already, you can go on to the Kevin Murphy Facebook page. And if you go to the events section, you can actually watch all of the past KMTVs. And again, there's stuff from our people from all around the world doing styling, cutting, coloring, but also talking about business, talking about new products that are coming out, specific ingredients, culture, the culture of hairdressing. All of those things are on there that can help you with anything that you might be wanting to learn about, and hopefully it can help you in your business and in your salon as well, because that's what we're aiming for with that. So jump on KMTV. There's always new episodes coming out as well. So jump on, you'll see what's coming up, but you can also watch everything that's already happened as well. All right, well, that's it from me, guys. Thanks so much for spending 2 hours with me today and going through Learn Me the products. I hope you got some valuable information out of that you'll be able to use. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next one. Anything else that you want to do, I'm sure I've got lots of stuff out there on offer for you. You can get in touch with those guys and they'll be able to tell you what they've got on offer and how we can connect with you. So thanks a lot. Hope you really enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing everybody on the next one that we do. Okay? All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks.